In the last episode of On the Spot, we spoke about how travel is being impacted by the current global environment. In today's episode, we're deep diving into something far more intrinsic. My name is Sharmeen Thomas, and you are watching and listening to On the Spot on Indoz TV. We're coming to you from the studios in Brisbane, and this is part of the mini-series called Unfiltered Realities. Let's welcome our guest for today, Shabana Kajani. Shabana, I haven't given much of a hint of what we're going to talk about today, but first and foremost, welcome to On the Spot. It's lovely to have you here today. For people who are meeting you for the first time, of course, you are a hairdresser by profession, but you also hold a certificate in mental health awareness. Tell our viewers and our listeners today, Shabana, what is it that you do and what has led you into this path of mental health awareness?
Thank you for having me, Sharmeen. It's very exciting to be here. This is my first time coming into a studio, so I was very uncertain about myself too to be here. It's very exciting. Thank you for having me here. With myself, I've started, I always wanted to be a stylist. I'm a very people person, so I felt that was something that I really wanted to do because that would make me keep in touch with people, with trends. And I didn't realize that hair would be something that I would like to master in as a profession. So I did go to London in the 1990s. I was certified, came back. I've been involved with my mum, who's been a skin specialist, who runs a salon. Actually, she's one of the pioneers in the city where salons were unheard of. And I started hairdressing with her. And we had lots of fun together. And then it's been so many years since I've done that. Then I've done my master's in 2023 in international color and haircut. That's been my hairdressing journey. And then, you're always busy as a daughter, then as a wife and as a mother, and you hardly find time for yourself. And the actual change for mental awareness that you mentioned is when I was sitting with my son one day and we were playing a game. And he said to me, Mom, would there be a certain year or a time period where you felt you'd like to go back and do something that you really wished to do?
What a great question.
And I was absolutely stuck. And I was stuck for a couple of minutes and I just could not answer and had no idea. And that's when I just realized that I actually haven't paid a lot of attention to myself because I have been paying a lot of attention to everything else to go well. And I think most of us do that. And that was the biggest thought that made me change to think I need to start thinking about what I like, what I'd like to do, what I see myself in the future. So just a little bit more time to myself as well, along with all the routine that I do for everybody. And then the second thought, while I was trying to think what I'd like to do for myself, I also thought when this change is happening, I'd like to share it with everybody else because it might help them, as I learned from so many other people, and I thought they might learn something from me. And hence I started with my motivational Instagram page called Reflect and Connect Lives. And if you watch one of my first videos, I am very nervous. I'm reading out of a piece of paper. And I've tried editing it, which it's so unknown and so uncertain about everything. But I kept going, and a lot of people have said to me, why don't you delete all of those videos? But I have left it because it is my journey. And I think it is really important for everyone to have that journey and keep it up. So it reminds you of where you were and how you are today, because nothing stays the same, right? So it's good to evolve and learn. And that's been part of my journey, and I've absolutely loved it because I think I've learned a lot from that. And I'm happy if it helps someone learn as well.
Shabana, I love how you shared, not only how you've evolved, but also what's kept you going for so long. Now, as a hairdresser, like when I go to the hairdresser, I just keep talking, right? Somehow there's something so therapeutic about it. But really, today, this interview is more about mental health, but I can't help but, talk about your experience as a hairdresser as well, right? Because it's that there's something so therapy about it. When you are talking to your clients on a day-to-day basis, what are some of the conversations happening that connect to what's going on in the world today?
So one of the things that also kept me going as a stylist, and also taking up this mental health with my Reflect and Connect channel on Instagram as well, and talking about mental health and doing a course during COVID time, is also because people, as a hairdresser, you'll always have people trying to share and find, they share their problems, they try to find resolutions or get some ideas out of you. So you share some, they share some for you, and you always have that exchange of communication to help each other. So there are a lot of times when clients are quite worried about rising prices, or especially about their children. I think it's not so much about the uncertainty of rising prices of petrol, of grocery bills and school fees, but it's also the uncertainty about their children, whether how are they going to afford things in the future, because education is going up. People are planning to educate and go through university, and that fees is going up. So I think the main issue here for people that I come across is for the children. A lot of parents are very worried about children. In fact, just yesterday with a client of mine that we were talking about, and she said, I'm not really sure how, and she wanted to actually try and help her grandchild get a house and pay a deposit for her grandchild. And so we were talking about it, and she said, do let me know if you find a place, and we'd like to buy something for her. And because they will never be able to survive otherwise, it's going to be so hard for them to be able to enter the world where they feel that they've had a bit of success. So I think parents, grandchildren, grandparents, everybody's coming together as families to be able to find a resolution. And I think that's lovely to see as well, where people have learned that in times of uncertainty, this is what it teaches you as well, where you tell yourself, instead of falling into, a web of thinking nothing else is possible, you start thinking, let's find a solution to this. And that's probably the main point that everybody's worried about. The future of children.
The future of children. I think that's such a valid point. And I think that's at some level it's also sometimes something that we're not openly addressing all the time.
That's correct.
But I think that's great that you bring that up. When do you think is a point when people should actually seek help professionally? Like, when is stress just not a normal thing anymore?
Professionally, to seek help is when probably you are diagnosed. I suppose I am not a medical person. So I would say if you have felt that in the past you've been diagnosed with anxiety, or you're diagnosed with a case where you felt like you seek help, you definitely do go and find medical help for that. But then there is also other reasons where it could not have a professional help. You could have a friend that you could go to talk to. I just feel in the years that I have been talking to people, I feel the main issue people have is they need a friend who is happy to listen. We are not very good listeners as human beings. We love to talk. While somebody is talking, we are already preparing our minds to how we're going to answer back. Because if you look around, I feel people feel they're very certain about everything. They're certain about themselves, they're certain about how they feel, they're very certain about how they live their lives, they're certain about how others should be living their lives. And so they live in this very certain world, because as human beings it's very natural to have this feeling where we want everything to go very certain, we want everything to have a guarantee. So why? Because we work hard. This is how I do my job. This is what I earn. This is how I give my family time. So everything has to go okay. And when uncertainty hits you, like we faced COVID and we had no control over it, today there is unfortunate war that's happening and we don't have any control over it. So all of these uncertainty times make you feel very uncomfortable, and we sometimes don't tend to accept it very well.
And I think that's why maybe the need to control things that you believe are in your control.
That's correct.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying it as a fact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying from a very good historian that says that change is very annoying, but uncertainty is absurd.
Yeah.
You
Oh, I
know?
love that.
And so it makes it very difficult. So I'll give you an example. Like I was at the petrol station the other day, and like everybody else, I'm filling up my tank of my car, and I'm looking at the price going up, and I'm going, wow, that is super expensive.
Insane.
And that adds on to my expenses. And while I'm filling up petrol, I have all of these other thoughts that I've obviously not gone through yet, but I'm thinking about all the other bills that are going to go up in the future. It's going to affect because of this. And by the time I'm finished paying up for my petrol, the bill sitting in my car, I've realized that I have lost the ability to even think anything else because, you know, fear takes over you, worry takes over you, and you're not able to actually resolve anything but just worry and sit in that worry web. And then so I said to myself, no, I cannot do this. I have to drive and I've got to stay calm.
You got to do it. Yep.
And so I've taken a deep breath and I thought, you know what? You actually face uncertainty every day in your life, but you tend to ignore it because you feel it'll be fine and because we are in control and we can take care of the situation. And so that's what I've said to myself. I said, what is in my control, I will do it. So if the petrol is expensive, if I can be a bit more organized and maybe not drive as much, not forget as much, maybe I finish things on my way and I can save some petrol. So things like that. You've got to learn how to resolve things, what is in your control.
So that in a sense is like a mindset shift that you're talking about,
yes.
Right? Can you just maybe give us a golden nugget on that? What is a mindset shift that people can actually apply to deal with the uncertainty around us?
You know, the art of knowing is learning what to ignore. So there are so many things on television now we see about the war, about the uncertainty, what's going to happen, and everyone's predicting what might happen, and you're hearing this all the time, right? And we would like to ignore it, but we tend to keep hearing it all the time, and it takes over your life. You wake up in the morning and you want to know what's happened. You sleep and you want to know what's happened because you're not sure about what's going to happen tomorrow. And so if it is disturbing you, and if you feel all of this information is not really helping you in your everyday life, that's when you start to say, I need to stop and ignore. And so it's not that you're not trying to keep in touch with what's happening, but you put a limitation to what you hear and you see. And pay attention to what's important right now. Because the only thing that is certain in your lives is the moment you have now. Because when you talk about future, when you talk about later, you talk about tomorrow, tomorrow turns into now again. And so you land up in that now again. So that's the only thing that you have, that time that you have right now is certain. And so if the moment you learn how to be in that moment, you have certainty. The moment you come out of it, that's uncertain. So it's good to be in the moment, to be able to do what you can, to be able to live your life calmly and more peacefully, so you can be more organized and not get very flustered.
So are you saying, Shabana, that when you feel overwhelmed from watching the news on TV, from doom scrolling on social media, the best thing to do is to just stop and take a break?
Take a break. Take a break from watching what really disturbs you. Take a break from what you think you can't really help. You can't be part of it. Like the war going on at the moment, you can talk about it, you can plan your own life around it to the situation that is there, but you cannot really stop it. You cannot really go and be part of it and say, you're doing wrong. Why don't we just live a life? Why don't we just share this world? And that's exactly what we need to do right now. But unfortunately, some people decide not to, and so the disturbance comes through. But you know, when you look at nature, I think it's really important for people to look around you. We being, as human beings, being part of this whole nature. when you look at the forest, I go for hikes on Saturdays, and I always put attention to all of these trees. And when you look at nature and you learn from them, you have all of these roots under the trees that you cannot see every day. And how do they survive without us actually watering it? Or how do they survive without we actually feeding it some special food? Is because the roots help each other share. Maybe one tree tells the other one, oh, you haven't got enough water, let me share some with you so we can survive together. Oh, you're not getting enough sunshine because I've got my branches spread out. Maybe I move a little bit so you could get some sunshine. And so there's so much to learn from nature itself. And because we are part of nature, that's how you learn from them to be able to survive, we are survivors, we are human beings, we survive. And so to be able to learn from each other. When you look around you, everything looks different, right? The trees look different, the colors are different. We as human beings, we are all very different. And it's supposed to be to come together and celebrate these differences. Because we're human beings, again, we get bored very quickly. You know, eating a certain food, eating butter chicken every day might be very boring. We would like to eat Thai, or we would like to eat pad Thai. So we are human beings who like things being different every day. And that's what is certain, right? We can create a world of certainty around us, what suits us, what's in our control. And uncertainty can be avoided by not maybe watching television a lot, maybe telling ourselves and reminding ourselves, practicing to be able to have boundaries, what we are able to have control over and what we're not.
I'm going to come back to boundaries, and I'm going to come back to being grounded.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I love this chat, and I think it's something we can, you know, there's so many branches to it, you know, just using the analogy of trees that you just spoken. But our next section, and the way we typically taper off our podcast here, is our special on-the-spot rapid fire.
Excellent.
All right. So fortunately or unfortunately, this is really quick. We're going to test not just your knowledge and your opinions, but also your wit.
Okay.
So quick questions and quick answers. I know. Now that's a real challenge.
I was not warned about this
You
one.
were not warned about this part. Well, that's the fun part. All right. So to begin with, again, just moving a little away from the topic. Question number one, what is a book or a podcast that you would highly recommend people to read?
To really tell you, I actually haven't got anything in particular. I am not a reader. I am a listener. So I do listen to a lot of podcasts. I do listen to a lot of people online. And I keep it very simple, where I follow a lot of people. The reason I'll tell you why I don't follow one particular person is because I like different views and ideas. And I'm a person, I can wake up in the morning and it depends on what I come across. And I go, oh, I love this. And I just go through and I share it.
You share it.
And so, unfortunately, not a lot that I can give you out of that one. I'll have to put a little bit of thought to that.
That's okay. Next question. What is one boundary that people should establish in their lives?
I think looking after yourself and not letting anybody's opinion to fall onto you. Like I mentioned before as well, that people are very certain about themselves, about how they feel, how others should be living their lives, and the interference that people can tell you, how to dress up, how to speak, how to behave, how to feel about yourself. I think there should be boundaries about it, and you create those boundaries because nobody else will.
In one line, a grounding habit that can change your life.
Wake up in the morning, and I think one should look at yourself in the mirror, and if you feel confident about yourself and tell yourself, this is who I want to be, this is how I dress up, this is who I am, and I think that love towards yourself is your boundary, where you say, this is what I do and this is what I love about myself. So to remind yourself about everything that you love about yourself makes you more confident, makes you be yourself, makes you be more acceptable to yourself, and then it can be acceptable to people.
Well, Shabana, this rapid fire is spreading really fast.
Oh.
So
I've got long answers.
Are you a coffee person or a tea person?
A coffee person, absolutely.
What is one affirmation you say to yourself every morning?
to be myself, to be more comfortable in my skin, to be more me as I go, to create myself to be in a space that I would like to be, that is myself.
What's a superpower you wish you had?
To be able to just maybe bring peace through my examples. I wish that I would be able to be an example where people could maybe learn from each other and learn from me, learn from each other. I could learn from each other and just have some peace in this world that is so beautiful, and we could share little things together rather than fight for something small.
Last question to wrap things up, Shabana. If you could own a hashtag, what would it be?
Well, never thought about that one. Maybe hashtag reflect and connect lives.
I love that. Shabana, thank you so much for sharing your valuable knowledge and insight with us today. Really, in this world of uncertainty, it's just so important to learn and practice how to keep calm. And while you can't completely carry on in oblivion, I think you've shared some great strategies with us today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. This was not as hard as I thought it was. It was so much fun. Thank you so much, Sharmeen, for having me.
Thank you, Shabana. Thank you.
You.